My name is Gidget Wickham, and I work here at Kennedy Space Center. Well, what I do is work with the sales and catering event team, get the specifications that a client might want for their special party, and then at that point, we create a menu and tailor it to their needs. I got into cooking probably about 25 years ago. I went back to school, went to Baltimore Culinary Arts Institute and got a pastries and savory degree. Had a job at a small 4-star restaurant, Japanese French restaurant, and then I worked with Hyatt Hotels for about 10 years and worked at 8 different properties, and then had the opportunity to join Delaware North Company at Kennedy Space Center about 10 years ago and have been here ever since. I love cooking. I love the fact that I have an empty palette. You know, the plate's like an empty palette, and I get to develop whatever picture I want based on the request that the guest has. And the joy of that is that the guest gets to, you know, be in awe of all the creation that I have helped develop. All through my childhood, the kitchen and food was always a positive thing. The family always gathered in the kitchen, and food was always this focus point of family gatherings. So it was always a really, really positive environment for me, and I just liked that. So I think that's what got me to start thinking about food and wanting to be in the culinary industry. The great thing about working here at Kennedy is the fact that every day I run into a hero that has explored space, and at the Kennedy Space Center we have the opportunity as employees to share the NASA story. So the cool thing is, you know, that I'm around that every day, and it's a real something real. Most about my job, I love probably the family atmosphere in the kitchen, and that, you know, people have one common goal, and that's accommodating the guest that's outside. Well, here at Kennedy Space Center, we do, probably to date, we've done about 1 million or so meals, not including our special events. And that can encompass, you know, from grab and go to quick service to a full plated entree. We have several school programs, and we do, you know, a lot of catering, you know, underneath the Saturn V rocket, as well as Atlantis, Space Shuttle Atlantis. And it is from a pretzel to, you know, 6-course meals. Well, we have 11 different venues on the property, and, you know, from the Rocket Garden Cafe, Milky Way, G-Force Grill, Saturn V Conference Center, Orbit Cafe, Countdown Cafe. There's a Moon Rock Cafe where you can also dine and even touch a moon rock. We do have a lunch with the astronaut every day, where there's a real hero that interacts with our day guests and inspires young kids, yes. In developing a Dine with the Astronaut menu, we changed that quarterly, actually, and in creating that menu, we try to make it a well-balanced meal, tailor it for both adults and young kids. Remember that we do have allergens, be it gluten-free people or dairy-free people. So when we do develop that menu, we take all those things into consideration and put a healthy choice out there for all ages. It makes me feel happy. I'm hoping that they enjoyed their meal or enjoyed their experience here at the center, from, you know, eating at the Rocket Garden Cafe and looking out to the rocket garden itself. And maybe that child has even thought about, you know, maybe if I become an astronaut, you know, you wonder what goes in their mind. But, you know, I'm hoping they had, you know, a great experience. I mean, that's our goal when one positive experience, one guest at a time. So, you know, I hope that they had a great dining experience as well as a great day experience, whether that be a tour or just coming through the Atlantis building and playing all the interactive games. Well, I guess if a person's wanting to go into the culinary field, I would tell them to continue to be open-minded, be very dedicated, be hardworking, have an open mind, you know. It's not just working behind the line, you know. It's going to cool venues like Kennedy Space Center, and, you know, from creating menus here to learning to set a tent up from the ground up, like ordering food, creating a menu, ordering food, and executing that. And it's not just, you know, working a saute line. It is all aspects of the field. It's sort of a unique operation. Since there are 11 outlets and we have catering events, those outlets each have a variety of staff members. They could range from anywhere from 3 crew members to, you know, 25 crew members at any given time. And all of those persons are interested in food, and they help execute the 1 million+ meals that we create throughout the year thus far. And so I guess if you count the outlets up, you'd probably have about, you know, 100 to 200 food service persons on a daily operation. Well, I feel that the skills that you would need for this to come into the culinary is, you know, creativity, menu writing abilities, ability to cost out recipes or cost out menus, ability to write recipes, ability to develop your staff and guide them, so when you as a leader are not in the operation, things will be executed properly as you would wish them to be, that there is no wavering. Working in the culinary field or in a kitchen is extremely hard work and very stressful. So I have tried to implement a family meal, and there's a lull time at one of our locations daily around 1:30, and we try really hard to get everybody together and do a family meal where you just are sitting down, you're not using your cell phone in today's technology, right? Everyone's on their cell phone. You actually put your phone in the middle of the table, and you just sit and eat your meal, and you talk about your day, or you talk about, you know, your family, or what might be happening in your world that's not related to food or the kitchen. And it just is like a stress release time. And then you all get back up, and even though your bellies are full, you go back and finish your shift of 3 to 4 more hours. And we do that during the day, but even after big, large functions, we sit down as a big family and you eat family meal at the end of a function before you go, you know, and before you go clean up and break down the set and do it all over again tomorrow. And that's what it's all about, you know. You're back in quite early in the morning, you know, sometimes, but, you know, you have to be a little crazy to be in the food and beverage industry, but, you know, it's self-driven, you know, and everybody likes it, you know. Everybody that is in the kitchen really likes it. They have a passion for it that I'm surrounded with, which is really refreshing. You know, one of my favorite things to see is when an astronaut is walking, and he could be walking in Atlantis, or he could be walking through the complex, and a child will run up to the astronaut and maybe, you know, look up to him, be in awe, you know, and just want to talk to this person that's been in the space shuttle, or maybe even been up in space, you know, with the Saturn V rocket. And that child is just very joyful. And it's, you know, you say child, but a child, even adults are children, aren't we? You know, and they're extremely excited when they see an astronaut or are in all of it, because, you know, they're our heroes. You know, they're pioneers in space, and, you know, we're still exploring space. And it's just really interesting and cool to see a child of all ages being all of that astronaut, you know.